In my teenage years, I used to be that shy person who would freeze up halfway through a conversation, mentally muddling for something, even a single word to say. It was like my brain would stop working when I was expected to respond. Speaking to someone was as intimidating for me as running a marathon on an empty stomach. Ever been there? You know when you're trying to talk to someone and have absolutely nothing to add, it's quite awkward, right? If you're also going through this similar situation, then stick to this video until the end. Because in this video, I'm going to unveil the simple formula that I used to finally stop running out of things to say during conversations. I still recall a time in high school when I was trying to impress this beautiful girl that I had a crush on. I walked up straight to her and I just stood there, like the house by the side of the road. Couldn't think of a single engaging thing to utter. Eventually, she looked at my face, waiting for me to say something, and then just walked off. Yeah, it was really bad. I thought I was great at talking to people, but the experience really hit me hard. It left me reflecting. Why am I so miserable at this? And why does every conversation feel like a mountain that I can never ascend? So, I started trying everything under the sun, watching YouTube podcasts, reading how to talk to people, books and articles, and even making conversation flashcards. But guess what? It still made things unpleasant. The more I made efforts, the more embarrassing it got for me. But then over time, while speaking to my older sister, who could literally talk to a brick wall and have it respond, it just clicked to me. It was not that she always had something exciting to say. She just cracked the code on how to keep a conversation going. In that particular moment, it just hit me that conversations are not about always having the ideal words. They're about showcasing attentiveness and understanding how people think. And the surprising thing is, I didn't even have to take complicated formulas. It was all simple. So once I started using these steps, I finally felt calm and in control during conversations. My nervous system stopped freaking out as if I were being chased by a lion. I started connecting with people in ways I never thought possible. And it wasn't about mesmerizing topics or pretending to be someone else. It was much simpler than that. So here's how you can do it too. The foremost trick I acquired seems uncomplicated, but it is a game changer. This trick all boils down to what I name soul syncing, known as active listening. Now, I know what you're thinking. Listen, that's it? But trust me, there is a thin line between hearing someone's talk and actually listening to them. Imagine you're out in a cafe having a conversation where someone shares their love for, let's say, painting, and they are describing a painter that they adore the most, despite just nodding or going, "Oh, that's amazing." Practice giving them your undivided attention. Simply listen to them dearly so that you can feel their excitement. Picture their words as a puzzle you're piecing together. Don't think about what you're going to reply with. Just focus on them. Sounds easy? It's harder than you imagine, but it is one of the keys to never running out of things to say in response. When you actively listen, you will notice minute details and emotions that give you never-ending topics to talk about. Take it from me, once you initiate listening like this, conversations will naturally flow. And the cherry on top is, people love being listened to. It's like you're handing them out a gold ticket to express their emotions. Now, have you ever been through any high-pressure situations? Well, high-pressure situations are unavoidable. Whether it's an interview, a networking event, or a date, these moments often bring the most pressure because we really want a positive outcome. And then we go home replaying everything thinking, why did I say that? The key to handling pressure is recognizing that it makes us do the exact opposite of what we would do if we were calm. When someone criticizes us at work, the instinct is to shut down and close off. When we're nervous about approaching someone, our heart races, our breathing's shallow, and we freeze thinking, what do I say next? But here's the trick. Do the opposite of what your body tells you. At work, instead of folding your arms, consciously open up. Unfold your arms. Lift your chin. This signals your brain to slow down, calm your nerves, and think clearly. If someone walks into the room and you start hyperventilating, take a deep belly breath. It'll instantly slow things down, and you'll sound more confident. When you're nervous about approaching someone, stand tall, speak clearly, and smile. By changing your body language, you'll shift your state and think more clearly right from the start. Okay, so we got some control back. But what should I say if my mind is blank? Successful people often know exactly what they'll say or do first. It's like having a go-to phrase that breaks the ice and gets the ball rolling. For example, when I lived in Brazil and didn't speak the language well, I'd often freeze thinking, what should I say? By the time I figured it out, the moment was gone. But then I realized I could always start with something simple and reliable. So I'd walk up to someone and say, hey, do you speak English? Right away, they'd slow down and the conversation would begin. For you, find your own go-to line. If you're at a networking event or party and want to introduce yourself, try, hey, I don't think we've met yet. I'm Jack. What's yours? It works every time. And it's simple enough to use anywhere at a social event, a bar, or even a networking mixer. The key is to have a phrase ready so you don't waste time overthinking. It'll help you jump into the conversation with confidence and start your conversation on the right foot. Now, when you're in the middle of a conversation, especially on a date, it's impossible to predict every word you'll say. Trust me, I've wished I could script a few awkward dates in the past. But instead of trying to plan every detail, focus on a simple framework. Every successful date, while unique, follows a similar pattern. If you know the framework, you can ask yourself, where are we in this process? First, there's intrigue, that playful fun energy that sparks a conversation. You keep it light and maybe even a little mysterious. Next comes sharing values. This is the key. Instead of diving straight into hopes and dreams, start with a light conversation, then gradually share what's important to you. This builds a deeper connection. Finally, for it to shift from friendly to romantic, there needs to be physical tension. It starts with eye contact, a light touch, and as the interaction progresses, maybe a dance. This physical element signals there's more than just conversation happening. When you know the framework, intrigue, shared values, physical tension, you can navigate a date with more confidence. So the point is that frameworks take the pressure off having to think of everything to say. They give you a clear roadmap to make sure the interaction stays on track and builds naturally. And trust me, it works for other situations too, like making a great first impression or handling tough conversations. Knowing your framework means you can focus on saying the right things at the right time. Yet sometimes, even with a framework, the pressure hits you out of nowhere. You're caught off guard, and suddenly you have no idea what to say. Maybe you're in a meeting, or someone asks you for your opinion, leaving you frozen. In these moments, a simple trick is to repeat the last few words the person said, but in a questioning tone. For example, if they ask, "What do you think about the proposal, Jack?" you can say, "So, what do I think about the proposal?" This gives you a few extra seconds to think and often prompts them to clarify what they really want to know. They might say, "Did you think we should go with plan A or plan B?" This not only buys you time, but also gives you a clearer idea of how to answer. If you like this video, be careful. You might stumble on that subscribe button. See you soon.